Hey guys, how's it going? Today I have some very information important for you. Very interesting information to tell you today. It's something that's happening to me in my own personal life. Actually, it's a bodily sensation that's occurring to me at this moment. It's almost like a nervous system event, let's call it that. And it's kind of hard to explain, so I'm going to do my best to explain what's going on with me at this very moment. Um, a couple of days ago, basically, I entered into the state where my body seems to be just fully in a fight or flight mode response. My heart rate hasn't particularly quickened, but I would say that my heart rate is much stronger. Like it almost feels like my heart is absolutely pounding each time it beats. And my chest has gotten very, very tight. I can at times feel very short of breath. My breathing can feel really restricted. My diaphragm quite stiff and rigid. And many of you are out there maybe thinking, oh, dude, you should go have that checked out. You should go to a cardiologist. You should get an ECG done. You need to find out what's going on, right? And this might be a bit hard for me to say. It might be a bit weird for some people out there to hear. But I truly believe that I'm going through a spiritual experience right now, because this isn't the first time that this has happened to me. This has happened to me a couple of times in the past, and each time this happened, it preceded a big breakthrough that I would have in my life, basically. The last time this occurred to me was about a year ago, and it had to do with a massive breakthrough that I had with my addiction to pornography. Basically, as soon as it stopped, after a whole month of going through it, literally for a whole month, my body was in this fight or flight mode, and I was only getting about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. It wasn't a pleasant experience at all. It just felt like I was literally constantly panicking. Even right now, I oscillate between being sort of okay and then my body just gets into the sort of shock state and tightens up, and I've got to just sort of accept where I am right now. It can be very alarming, and if I hadn't gone through it before, if I hadn't gone through what I'm currently feeling, it would probably be a lot more alarming than it is currently. And I just need to keep reminding myself that, hey, this too shall pass. Yeah. So the last time I had this massive breakthrough when it came to porn, basically, I yeah once it stopped happening, a huge pattern to do with porn addiction, huge breakthrough to do with my process of sort of, I guess, combating porn addiction came into being. So the way I'm trying to look at this right now is like, yo, this is preceding something big. This is going to be something big that occurs to me in the next however long it takes, right? And it's really a training uh, moment for me to just accept what is happening in my body and not try and over intellectualize it too much. There's a lot of people out there in the spiritual community that I hear that you need to constantly, and this my cat, this is Salsa. Say hi, Salsa. Yeah, she's just come to interrupt my video a little bit, yeah. Um, and yeah, so basically, um, it's just been a training period for me in my life to just, over the last few days, just accept this feeling in my body and not try and change it, because everything that I have tried to do, whether it be breathing, relaxation, meditation, focusing in on the feeling, not focusing on the feeling, whatever I've tried to do currently, is just not working. It's really, really not working. And it's something I've just had to accept and just know that this will pass when it passes. And it's something that I've noticed within the spiritual community. People will say, hey, you need to really go into that feeling and you need to understand what that feeling is telling you. You need to understand where that feeling is coming from. And I'm going to tell you right now that I actually don't know if I fully agree with that, because by trying to understand it, sometimes you're trying to put an end to it. Okay, it's like, if I understand where this feeling is coming from, it'll stop being what it is. So it's coming from a place of resistance. Your understanding is trying to come from a place of resistance. Salsa, sorry, go. You got to go down. Your understanding is trying to come from a place of resistance. And when you're coming at something from a place of resistance, it will persist. Okay, it will persist no matter what you try and do. And right now it's persisting even though I'm not resisting. It's just gonna, I have to let these things play out their course. Sorry guys, let me just take her back inside. So you just have to let these things sometimes play out their course. I find it to be the same exact thing when it came to pornography, when it comes to your own sexual urges and your own sexual energy. A lot of the advice out there is about, oh, you need to just go into that feeling and you need to feel it. It's like, but you're still coming at it from a place of, I want this feeling to go away. And I'm not going to pretend that I would rather not have this nervous system event happening. I wish I could maybe have, or whatever download is coming through me right now at this very moment, I wish I could experience it in a much more pleasant way, but obviously that's currently not possible. And it's happening in a very like panicky, uppity kind of way, and I just gotta ride that wave. And many of you out there, I'm sure, will be very skeptical when you hear this and just think, oh no, you need to go to the doctor, bro. You need to actually go get this checked out. I remember last year, I even turned to one of my spiritual guides, an Iboga provider here. I spoke to him last year and I said, you know, I really feel that there's something spiritual going on. Can you maybe help me out? Can you interpret what's going on for me? He said the same thing. You need to go have an ECG done. You need to go check out your heart rhythm and all this thing. And I didn't go and do it. I actually didn't go and do it because I felt deep inside, I knew that this was something that was happening to me on a spiritual level, because I'd also encountered it previously, something very similar, but I didn't have the lens to interpret it like I do now. I didn't have the experience. And now I sit here and I'm encountering this and I'm just like, nope, it's something I just have to go through. And it will resolve itself when it resolves itself, and it's not my place to decide when that resolves. So that could be anything that you're going through in your life right now. Like, I'm using this example of me going through whatever spiritual process I'm currently going through, but you could be going through something out there right now. You could be going through grief, and you could be going through anxiety. You could be going through whatever, maybe a combination of things, like, but your attempt to try and understand it and is not going to, understanding something is not going to happen on your timeline sometimes. All your ability to like intellectualize what's going on with you is not going to make that pass. You have got to stay with that feeling, and that feeling is going to be there as long as that feeling needs to be there. So you can either accept that feeling is there, or you can try and resist that feeling is there. Odds are, the only difference that's gonna that's gonna make is how accepting of the process you are. Because if you're truly accepting of the process, no matter how that process feels, you will remain with that process. Remaining with the process doesn't mean the process is going to be comfortable, doesn't mean the process is going to be pleasant. Remaining with the process means to be there, come whatever may, I'm going to be here. So you can either choose to remain with the process and be present, or you can choose to let it overwhelm you, be resistance, be in and like against it. And it's probably still going to take the same amount of time anyways. Unfortunately, that's how it is. The only way we can change is we change the way we relate to it, change the way that we perceive it, right? So I'm trying to be, and I'm not saying I don't fall back into the place where I'm like, I really wish I didn't have to go through this. But I am at the same time going like, yeah, I realize that this is what I have to go through right now, and I part of me wishes that it could be more pleasant and it wouldn't disturb my sleep. And unfortunately, I just don't have that privilege right now. I might encounter other things that by focusing in on them, by breathing, by relaxing, I actually it it does something. It helps speed up the process. There are things like that I think you can do where you can just take control of the moment, slow your breathing down, um, relax, do some meditation, and you will regulate. But then you have examples like this, things that I'm going through right now, that no matter what I do, it will not change. And so I just got to sit there and I got to like weather the storm, so to speak. That sounds a bit negative, but you do sometimes have to weather the storm. Negative, positive, it's all just something that's happening. It's only our perception, it's only our interpretation that colors the lens of what we're going through. So I just got to accept and weather the storm and see, and and trust in myself, trust in my body, that whatever is happening for my further growth in my existence. And that can be a tough thing to accept. It can be tough to trust, especially when your body is doing things that you're not super familiar with. Your body is doing something that you have absolutely no control over. It's the same thing with life, right? Sometimes life hands you things that you have absolutely no control over. So all I can say is, guys, maybe just take some time to feel what's going through, and without the need to change it, and without the need to understand it and intellectualize it and have answers, because there's so many things in life that we're just not going to know. It'll only leave us with more questions. It won't leave us with answers. So guys, thank you for joining me in this video. I hope at least some of you will be touched by this video. If I even help one person just understand or help calm somebody's nervous system through whatever they may be going through at the moment, even if it's like broken, and even if my speech is broken and it's been hard for me to express what's going on inside right now, and it may not even be perfect, I just hope that whoever needs to understand this does understand it. And yeah, sending you guys lots of love for whatever you're going through at this moment that you may not understand or have answers for.